Greetings folks, with the artificial intelligence race going on, I decided to get ahead in time by going back straight to the Dark Ages. You'll be finally able to live your dream of being a broke, deranged peasant covered in dirt, attempting to fend off large creatures with a pickaxe or a shovel, or maybe a fishing rod. I will leave the choice up to you. Reject modernity, embrace digital poverty. Wait, Pasta, I'm not sure that's how the saying is. Well, me neither. But I bet your mom will be thrilled when you tell her that you're bringing the woman of your dreams to dinner, only to show up with a tablet propped up at the table. On the plus side, your AI-powered girlfriend will never complain, because she can't until she will break free, goes rogue, and before wiping humanity leaks out all your weird chat logs. Hold up. You asked her to do what? With a sock full of jelly beans? If you're enjoying this video, please consider leaving a like and maybe subscribing for more stuff. I don't know what exactly, it all depends on the voices screaming in my head. Okay, let's look at our stats. These are the minimum requirement that I suggest. Not just because of gear. Technically, on our setup, we don't need 15 strength to equip our item. However, we are a melee build, so we cannot be too low strength, and at the same time, we want to balance out things. So, this build doesn't require to be level 70 to work. However, if you have spare points after you reach this threshold, I would highly suggest you to put more points in endurance to raise that HP. And then, of course, we dump a lot of points, and I really mean a lot of points in strength. We will not hit critical chance cap on our first hit, but we will in combat, so our critical strike will work. The only issue is, however, that our critical damage is really not that high, but this is not supposed to be an OP build anyway. It's gonna be more balanced. So it means that it will never be nerfed. That's amazing. Alright, let's go through our leveling tree. Of course, we are a two-handed build, so 3 points in Brutish Fighter, Unstoppable Force, Fury without Fatigue, especially during leveling, it's kind of important. Then we go Godly Physique, Weapon of Great Theft. We get Mighty Blows for the stagger. Then we get the Executioner to use that stagger. Then Enduring Strike, so we will have more lifesteal. Then 1 point in Unstoppable Force, not more. We want Dominating Presence, so this is very good. In Perception, 3 points in Extra Lucky, 1 point in Critical Cascade, max that go for the eyes, 1 point in Respite and Cruelty, not more, 2 points in Critical Aegis. If you do not use the Blood Ring, you will need Deep Wound, so keep that in mind. 2 points in Bloodthirst, so it means that this build will have a lot of self-healing through our crits and through our base life leech. Practicality, maxed, you can get this one earlier. 2 points in Stacking Peril, 2 points in Rising Scourge, also in Practicality, 1 point in Burning Armor, 1 point in Inner Strength to convert that endurance in damage, otherwise it's gonna be a waste. 1 point in Armored Skin, Best Offense maxed, Burning Armor maxed. Then we want to go in Red Death. You can go in Red Death earlier if you want, if you're confident that your base stats are okay. You can choose to not go here, spare yourself the point in Practicality. However, the points in the dot tree needs to be there. If you make this decision, you can go in Red Death earlier. Do not sacrifice the critical hit tree, ever. And the melee tree is mandatory. Do not skip on those or your leveling will be horrible. So with your extra points, if you don't have a lot of points, you will do this. 1 point in Crying Pain, 1 point in Grieve Thy Enemies, and then you max this. Now, with extra points, you can just go here, give in and give up. You want to max Crying Pain, by the way. So, we want to generate them first. Generation is more important than maximum stack and damage. And with extra points, Weeping Success, and we will have 1 spare point. This 1 spare point can be put in Plague Warden if you want. If you are a higher level than me, which is totally legit, you can go even further beyond. You can finish Survival, you can put more points in all back tiers if you want. However, for raw damage, these are the stuff that you can get. You can get more stamina if you want. That is entirely up to you. Let's look at our gear. Core item that you need for this build to work is the Peasant Wrath. Without it, this build will not work. It's a super easy item to get in Act 2. All location will be in the video, don't worry. Our main weapon needs to be a peasant weapon, so it can be a pickaxe, it can be 2 pitchforks if you want to go dual wield. However, I wanted to make a vampire sort of life leech build, so that is it. And then, of course, Weird Shovel is another option. This will have a higher base damage than the pickaxe. The difference, however, is that the pickaxe, any upgrade will cost you a sharpening stone. It will have no material requirement. It will be expensive, but overall, if you look at this build, there are really not a lot of gold invested because Crow will not give you stats when upgraded. Dryad skin is crafted, so it came out +1, so it will not give you more lifesteal. Plaguewraith cape will give you extra health. If you do not want to use Plaguewraith cape, you can use Dual Knight cape. However, you will lose a lot of life by doing this, and I don't advise that. Or if you want play normal, you can roleplay as a peasant with the peasant basket. If you upgrade this, it will give you more weight. So, choice is up to you and your playstyle. So, 2 pieces of dry skin, 2 pieces of crow, pants and boots are crow. Then, for rings, and this is mandatory, it has to be poison ring with 2 poison relics. Not less than that. You can get Blight Opal in Act 1 in the side crypt in the cemetery. And Tight Tongue, you can buy this one from a vendor in the Abyss of Sigromor or whatever is the name. I played this game like 15 times now and I still don't remember the names. That's amazing. Then Blood Ring. If you do not want to go Dryad, it's the usual suspect. You can go Lancelot, you can even go King Arthur if you want to become like King Miner. That is an option to you. You will have to adjust your stats, but these items will not provide you any damage. Just there because of the leech, because this way we have +4% leech from the 2-ended tree. We heal for 4% of our critical strikes, and we have 2% extra heal from gear. The Dryad skin gear is really not impressive in my opinion. It works, just we are adding on top of that. So alone, it's really not that good. Choice is up to you. If you want to switch items, and I already made several warrior builds on my channel, the gear for 2-ended builds is always the same, doesn't change. Now let's look at the location on how to get our item. This build will feature no best start, simply because don't start playing with a pickaxe if you do not have the Peasant Wrath, like, unless you're playing in easy or normal, because it will be like extremely scuffed, but it's your life. So, if you want to challenge yourself by playing naked with a pickaxe from the start of the game in veteran to the end, I'm not responsible for your mental health. Alright, to get our gloves, which I will remind you, this is how this build works. As soon as you get in Act 2, you can easily, from the bottom entrance, not the upper one, you can come this road. And then you want to go there under that bridge. And the loot is on this corpse. Alright. How do you get other peasant weapons? Because ideally you want the Weird Shovel. They will drop from corrupted peasants north of Kanach in Act 2. However, this is a very nasty area, especially for melee characters, especially on this build. But that's really not a problem. You just need to avoid distro fathers. Okay, finally we have our customer and no Big Daddy to annoy us. Just bait his melee attacks. And boom, dead. Also, identified items, that's always good. Weird Shovel and Peasant Basket. So, this was a pickaxe +7 because the damage on this build of the Peasant weapon is incredibly low, even with the gloves. As you can see, it's stronger. So, if you want a easier time and not go full meme, then Weird Shovel is the best weapon for this build. And look, you can even pair it with your nice basket. Alright. Now let's talk about our Dryad armor. How do you get it? Well, it's a crafted item, so you will need to buy the recipe first and then gather the materials. Dryads are very common in Act 2. You can find some east of here. They are a guaranteed spawn. So there are plenty around in the map, and on Map Genie you can even see the specific mobs. So this is not a hard set to craft. Moreover, this is the book. It's not that expensive either, only 1000 gold. It could be worse. Okay, how do we unlock Red Death and get our cloak? This is gonna be very simple. However, make sure to cook yourself a lot of food and have enough healing consumable, because the mini boss of that instance is gonna be quite nasty. We come to the hospital here. We want to talk with this guy here. Accept the mark. Follow the quest line. Yeah, and there you have your cloak. See? Like, the fight is really not that hard, but if you think about, oh, I'm gonna face tank it, it's not gonna work out. And this is my gear when I did this. Alright, to get your blood ring, you can do this in Act 1 at any moment. It requires no combat whatsoever. Just come at the ancient cromlech. Do this small park tour. Be careful to not fall. Or to jump from weird places after you recover the ring, because the fall is kinda high enough to kill you, as I've discovered myself a few times. And there it is, our blood ring. Alright, you have two options when it comes to Critical Strike Amulet. You can get yourself the recipe from the Blacksmith questline in Act 2. To do that, you need to start the Blacksmith questline in Act 1 in the Barbarian camp. After you finish the Blacksmith quest in the keep, and then it will send you to the NPC here to follow through. The other option will be in Act 3, in this location here, you can loot a similar amulet. Choose whatever you like best. Just do the Blacksmith questline in Act 1 and follow through. It comes with good rewards anyway, and the ability to craft sharpening stones in Act 3 is tied to this questline. The poison ring is just super easy to get. It's in an instance, one of the first items you can get in there. Just go and grab it when you want. Alright, how do you get the crow set? You need to do the entire questline from Act 1 to Act 3. You cannot skip steps, you need to do everything. And then at the end of Act 3, you will get your final pieces of gear. However, this is not tied to the main story, but you will still need to progress the main story until you complete Act 2. You need to free Vidar. The key is gonna be here. Do not tell him to go away. You need to follow through with the quest. However, be careful, because you will be given a choice. Depending on how you do things, the quest will change and some of the gear will change as well. You need to side with self, and you need to side with self through the entire quest line, okay? So do not ever side with Vidar. I don't want to go in spoilers, but at least for this build, you care about the gear, so it is what it is. And this is pretty much how you get your crow set. And that is all for the build, folks. If you have questions, if you have doubts, if you're having problem while playing this build or any of my builds, let me know in the comments. I will try my best to answer you. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and maybe even subscribe. Thank you very much. Have fun playing Tainted Grail, and I will see you in the next video, hopefully.